Welcome to Prayers to the Dice Gods. I'm Alan, and today we're going to be using NMM on Ghazghkull Thraka's Klaw. For this one, we're actually going to do a kind of blue silvery colour. So we're going to start with a nice clean grey base. We're then going to work our way up and take that to a really dark blue, giving it some nice clean fades going all the way up. And the other end, we're actually going to take that from grey through to white to give us those nice shiny points. As you can tell, we have decided that we're going to have a shine that actually runs down the claw. So each one, although it's slightly off center, actually leads to a shine that works its way down, as well as across the blade of that claw. We're using scale 75 paints here, so it's very important to remember that you thin these down as much as possible. Now, one of the things I've found that I find quite useful is if I add a little bit of flow improver to each bit of paint and then thin that down with water, I find that it's fairly easy to work with. If you've ever used scale 75, you'll know that that wouldn't actually matter. It actually just helps smooth the paint, and that's all I was looking for. The pigment in scale 75 can be watered down to death with literally just water, and it will still work as a very effective paint. I've not watered this paint down to a glaze. I didn't quite want to go that thin, so what I'm working with here is some of the thinnest layers I possibly can to help blend them together as I go along. Now, yeah, a glaze would work better, but what I'm planning on doing here is using a glaze over the top to help smooth all of those transitions over, just to make sure that all of the blends are looking as smooth as we want them. Bearing in mind that this is a massive orc with a massive claw, and we don't want it to look too much like it's a polished blade. Edge highlighting as we go along is very important to help us reinforce that shine. So there's a bit of light along the edges just to really sell that. And we're going to do that with exactly the same white that we've done the highest white highlight with, which is actually a slightly off white. Now, although I had already started painting this model and I did think it was looking quite nice, I decided in actual fact he's an orc. The chances of that blade being that shiny all the way across it would be very slim. So what we're going to do is we're going to paint the very top panels of each of those blades and the underside in brown, and then we're going to try and do a rust effect on there. So we do this by painting an initial brown colour, and then we're going to start working from that brown all the way to a fairly bright orange, and we're literally just going to tap the paintbrush over the panels and start to build up what appears to be a texture. But we're also going to give it slightly different areas that are slightly lighter and some that are slightly darker as we work our way through them. And at the end of all of that, we're also going to do a white edge highlight because the other bits of the blade are still shiny, so they're still going to catch the light. At this point, you're going to think I'm absolutely nuts, and I think I am too. I'm going to go around the red part of his claw with the same grey that we've used as mid-tone for the claw, with the idea that we're going to do NMM chipped paint. Obviously, there was a much better way of doing this, probably more efficient, but because I changed my mind as to how I was going to do it while it was being worked on, I decided to do everything the hard way. So what I'm doing is I'm going around the red as it butts up to the grey, and I'm putting in some slightly lighter colours to make it look like it's scraped off. And of course, with any metal, even for an orc, it's going to have some sort of base coat, so I eventually get around to using that really dark blue-grey that I used on the claw to put around that edge again to make it look like it had gone all the way down through the primer and into the silver. Yeah, it's a pretty strange way of doing it, and it took a lot longer than it probably should have done, but the effect at the end I think is fairly impressive. Now, of course, that shine wouldn't be finished unless we did a white edge highlight all the way around, so we do that just to make it look like it is actually scraped silver. Now, although I thoroughly enjoyed the yellow smiley face, I decided I was going to paint over that and do that in metallics exactly like the rest of the claw. So just highlighting the top parts where it catches the light, and then the bottom edge of the flat panel give us a nice NMM look. Overall, I'm very happy with the way this claw's come out, and I'm looking forward to doing the rest of the Ork Diaries to finish the rest of this model off. Obviously, because I'm stupid and I've decided to do this in NMM, it's gonna take me quite a while. So look out for the rest of those videos as and when they come out. If you like the video, don't forget to do what our Space Marine's doing here and destroy the like button. And if you aren't already, make sure that you make like an orc, destroy that subscribe button. Any comments or any extra hints and tips you think I might find useful, put them in the comments, and of course I will try them out.